I love that we were just on live when you said that. And you're
That's
absolutely
great.
right. We'll reiterate that real quick. The show sucks. But you see,
Great way to
we
start.
are live. What's up, everybody? This is Black Friday, right? Black Friday.
Yes, it
We are
is.
live, and we're going over the late pick 4 at Churchill Downs for November 27th. So that's tomorrow if you're watching live. If you're tuning in, it's for November 27th. We're doing a late pick 4, and we're honored and happy to have CJ Johnson in here because I have to pronounce that because I'm a Johnson. Do you pronounce it different? First of all, CJ, the most important thing, do you pronounce your last name different than I do?
Yeah, Johnson.
Johnson. See? Okay. See?
My
All right,
my
well,
old man is full-blooded Norwegian, so that's where that comes
I'm
from.
a Johansson originally.
Okay,
So, yeah. All right. So we probably had the same name at some point. But one had-
exactly. Mine
Yeah.
mine were just probably too lazy to change it when they came over. My ancestors.
You've never met my family yet, CJ. I don't know.
That's true.
But absolutely.
Oh, boy.
So we are here, the Triple Clowns. It's me, G. Brown Johnson, alongside obviously Churchill Tom today from Tom and Tom Racing, and CJ Johnson, who we're excited to have, and Sarah Marie. I'm sorry, Mrs. Big News. Look, she puts her hands up. Okay. It's giving. You're here and you're on the side of me. CJ Johnson, who has 2 horses running that day at Saturday, tomorrow, or today if you're listening to it on Saturday, November 27th, and one is in the sequence.
Yep.
So this
That's
is
right.
exciting. CJ is an awesome guy. We got to meet him. And I do believe, CJ, this is a horse that we watched together.
Yeah.
The Z pattern horse.
Yep.
Which I'll bring that up a little bit. Great little fighter. Love it. Love it. So, CJ, thank you for coming on. Welcome to the show. And we are going to go over the late pick 4. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just recovering from yesterday. Wife was a little upset that I came to the office to do this, but she understands. You know, it's for the good of the game. It's promoting our brand. So I appreciate you guys having me on. And yeah, it was good hanging out with y'all at Del Mar. And then Tom, I met you at
The Haskell.
Monmouth. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. So always good. Meeting up with fellow horse racing fans that you met on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it was a good time. And CJ's a great guy, owns a bunch of
No
horses,
doubt.
so he knows his stuff. I'd hope a little bit. I think he does.
Why not, I guess.
No, he does. He does. He
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, yeah. He's good.
So let's get into it right away for the pick 4. So Sarah, introduce the race for us.
Yeah, the late pick 4 starts with race 9, which is the Lively Chevrolet Stakes. 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, $200,000 and up for 2-year-olds. Tom, do you want to start us off here?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're going to see some prices in this late pick 4. I do not believe we're going to see any huge prices in race 9. I went 3 deep here right off the bat. I started with that 3. I believe it's the Ass Man's second horse here. He had a really nice last race. He's throwing up a 90 speed figure, which is nothing to shake a stick at. I also went with the 5 Tejano Twist, I believe that's how I might pronounce it.
As a Texan, it's Tejano.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or a Mexican, one of the two. It's Tejano. Or a
Texican.
Californian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate the. I do everything phonetically, so I appreciate that, Steve. We'll just say the 5. He's coming up. I mean, he is throwing out. He threw up a 94. I mean, he's a big, beautiful horse. Threw up a 94 at Keeneland last race. We're only going 6.5. I think he might duplicate that here. And the other horse that I went with here is the 7. I love the jockey upgrade, jockey trainer combo. I mean, can't complain with that. I think he's definitely. I think the 7 is probably definitely going to be setting the pace here. He's got that wacky combo of a good early pace, but he also has a good late kick, which usually equals that the horse is going to finish in the money. I'm going to do 3, 5, 7. I'm probably going to do that depending on where the odds sit closer to race time. I might do that as a trifecta, but like I said, nothing too bonkers here with my first leg.
All right. Well, 7's a little bit bonkers, and I'm going to jump in right now, Tom, because you stole 3 of my 4 horses in this race, and what you said is absolutely correct with a couple of them. But I'm totally going to go on with the 3 throughout the last line in the slop. I'm good with that. Love the progression of this horse, so I'm going to go with the 3. The 7, weird jump here. I don't know if you noticed that with the 7. The Gaffleone jumps on off of the 8, Hoist the Gold, who I like as well. So I'll just talk about that real quick because you already brought up the 7. It's a weird jockey jump here. And Gaff is owning it, so who knows what's going on there.
Right.
So I'm going to take 7 and 8. Made me like the 7 even more. The 8, I do the Hoist the Gold. I like the stretch out here that went to the stretch out and comes back. I think there might be something there. But this horse could go near the lead, if not on the lead. So we'll see what happens there. But the other horse I put in there is the, like I said, the 8. It's a 5. I mean, I like this 5 because, I mean, how do you not? And was it Tejano in your mind? Tejano. J is an H. J is an H.
Are you sure you don't like the 1?
No, we're going with the 5 here just because it might be the fastest horse. So I'm going to go 4 deep here.
Wow.
Just because I think I have to. And I go a little shorter than the other one. So I'm going to go 3, 5, 7, 8.
3, 5, 7, 8. Oh, and you talk about the jockey jump, but also Brian is not riding the 3 here as he's riding the 8, which Hernandez has ran on the 3rd, passed 2 times out, and now they're getting Florent. But you know, after yesterday, Hernandez has kind of been a little bit on fire there at Churchill.
And maybe CJ can give us a little bit of insight on these jockey jumps here.
Yeah. This one was kind of confusing. I mean, look, Ray, who rode the 7, you know, all 3 times, he is now at Fairgrounds. So, you know, it wasn't like he got taken off or decided, you know, to ride someone else. Now, then you go, Tyler goes from the 8 to the 7, which opens up the 8, and Brian opts to head and ride the 8, who is 5-1 versus, you know, the horse he previously rode at 7-2. Now, Steve Asmussen's been playing games with jockeys a lot lately, so I don't know if whose decision that was exactly. You know, that's definitely something to look into, though. It's a little complicated. Usually, I can figure out these riddles these agents play and all this kind of stuff, but this one's a little interesting. I do like the 8, though. You know, but I think Sarah, you need to finish up on your picks, right? So I'll wait and go into that.
Keep going.
Close it out.
No, I was just gonna say it. I think, and I was kind of the 5 is a Tom Durant homebred, and Tom is from my area here in Dallas, and actually closer to Fort Worth. But he owns some car dealerships out here. He's a great guy. That you know, usually most of his best horses he buys. And I was looking up the dam of this horse, and she's dropped a couple stakes horses. Other than this one. She has a Violence that looks like it won the Clever Trevor last year up at Remington. So that being said, I hate to start off with chalk, but I'm probably going to single the 5 on a ticket as one of my A's, and then kind of on a B go 3, 6, 7, 8. I think, I'm not sure. I think the 2 is just going to be too far back. With the sprint. But I think, the 3 and the 8, to me look like they might go out to the lead with the 4 kind of in there. And then the 5, 6, 7 are going to sit right behind. So if there's a pace meltdown, I think the 5 will be in a good spot to take it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, that was one of my notes for the 5 is it's just going to sit and wait for that pace meltdown up front. That was my note. So you're singling the 5 on your A ticket, B ticket. You're doing 3, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and let me say the only thing that concerns me with the 5 is this horse has already raced 7 times. It has had a long campaign. Brett Calhoun is a very good trainer, so I know he wouldn't run this horse if he was worried about tailing off or something, and it looks like it's only gotten better. And like I said, the violence, the 3-year-old now, kind of really, same kind of pattern, just kept getting better and better throughout the year, and finished off, like I said, with a win in the Clever Trevor at Remington last year. And this year ran in the comp, not so good. And then is now with Diodoro, and ran 3rd in the Oaklawn back in May of this year. So, and that was going 1 1/8 actually. Interesting. So, yeah. So, we'll see. But that's kind of my only concern with the 5 is if it just is, had a long 2-year-old campaign and just is maybe done for the year.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to bring up.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I went too deep. Like I said, I have the 5 as well for all the same reasons we've kind of all discussed. And I'm with Randy here and CJ's B ticket with the 8. They tried him out at a mile, didn't work out too well. I don't think he's a mile horse.
Stretch out. I think it was a stretch out, right? CJ,
Could be.
would you agree?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
were just seeing what they had, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I like him here at 6.5. With Brian in the irons, like I said, he's on fire there at Churchill. He has great gate speed, so that outside post doesn't. I think he's going to be able to really sit nicely there at the lead, and kind of like we talked about, there could be a pace meltdown between the 3 and the 8, but I preferred the 8 really over that 3. I did not put the 3 here in that race. So I just took those 2, the 5, 8.
All right, so you were at 5-8. Quick thing before we go on to the next race. We all faded the 2 a lot, I see.
Yeah.
Little Papa G. I wasn't big on the 2 at all.
Yeah, like CJ, I think he might run out of gas. That's what that's the note that I had. I thought the other Asmussen horse would definitely outrun him, definitely outclass him, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's move on.
Well, it is. I noticed that too. But hey, maybe we're on to something.
All right, let's go to race 10, which is a Kentucky Oaks prep. We have the grade 2 Goldenrod Stakes, mile 16th on the dirt, $400,000 for fillies 2 years old. Tom, who do you like here?
Well, we'll start at the beginning. I like the 1, Famed. I can't complain with this jockey trainer combo. Had a nice sharp workout just about 4 or 5 days ago on the 21st. Really, this horse has been working out really well. Not really concerned about the move up in class with this horse. Christ, it was running at Keeneland. It's not like it was coming from Finger Lakes to Churchill. It does have. I'm not too concerned about that. I think this horse is definitely going to be in the mix. I have the 4 Sandstone. Again, not doing too many prices. This next race will be my prices. I like the dirt speed of Sandstone. He won his last race just right around Halloween, and yeah, he's been hitting the board as well. He's running. He's hitting a stride. 1-4, and then maybe with just because of our guest, I am just going to add in 2 possibly on a ticket. Cancel this with Joel in the irons. Has a nice pedigree. I do like the jockey switch as well. And hey, horse for course he's won here before, and might be interesting to see him going at this distance. That's my only question. But yeah, I went 3 deep. I went 1, 2, 4.
And by the way, you'll never offend me if you say absolute toss. Trust me. I started out as a handicapper first, so I understand how it is, and again, you'll never offend me if you say that. So
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna jump right on this too, and this isn't me, and I'll explain why. First and foremost, I'm going to play this too, because CJ and I watched. CJ showed me this race. Correct? Remember, we were sitting there during that great after party where they're playing their techno music on the side of us. CJ and I had our glow sticks out. We were dancing. It was unbelievable. Okay, we weren't. But we were standing there, and he shows me this race. And I said exactly to him, and anybody that listens to us knows, I love a Z pattern. I love when a horse shows a Z pattern. I don't even care about their numbers at that point. I love a horse that's going to break a little bit, know what they're doing out of the gate, come back and re-engage and fight. I have to play that horse. Is this horse fast enough? We'll find out. And
Sure.
that's what it's going to come down to. But as a racehorse at 20-1, and it really, if I didn't watch that race, and I try to watch the replays in all races, and CJ wasn't slighting me, I just said, wow. And if I watched this race now, I would have said the same thing. I love a Z pattern. I love a horse that does that, especially at 2, because, you know, we can't expect great speed figures all the time at 2 years old. This horse can run, not afraid of a dogfight, proven that. So I have to play this horse. I would have to play the 2 anyway. If I wasn't going to just do that, I would single the 4 here. So I'm going to play the 2 to beat Sandstone. I can't get away from Sandstone here.
Yeah.
I mean, if this horse does something here, anything here, and wins, easy. Let's settle down on Nekozulu for a second. For real. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, let's not anoint her the greatest. Because what has this horse done wrong? After taking some time off, I love that fact. You know, coming back, and this is the distance. So this could be the real deal here. So I'm going to just go 2-4. Easy enough. Love the Z pattern, not being homer with CJ here. I love the fact that the horse got a fight in the stretch, bumped in the stretch. So not afraid of it. Just let's see if the horse is fast enough.
CJ, who do you like here?
All right, so this race was I went back and watched some replays, and now we all saw what Sandstone did, and it was super impressive. And Kenny can train fillies. Susan Moulton, who's the owner, she was a partner of ours. We won the Speakeasy last year at Santa Anita with a horse with her. She can manage a horse. 8-5. Now that race, she was absolutely alone on the lead, and you know, walked 24-2, 48-2. The horse looked really comfortable. You know, honestly, it was very visually impressive. I think she's going to have some pace pressure here, though. And if, you know, now if we're just trying to grind and get by and make a little money, yeah, throw her in. But, you know, I'm kind of trying to hit one out of the park here. I think she's going to get pressured by the 1 and the 6. And the 6 she put away last race easy, you know, as the 6 was just kind of chasing her in that chase mode. Now the 1, my concern with the 1 was I watched that last race. Now the pedigree shouldn't have a problem going to mount a 16th. Brad Cox, excellent trainer. Giroux, great jockey. That last race at Keeneland was in the slop. It was a full field. She broke from the rail. Now the horse that was pressuring her started on the turn to move up next to her, and that horse is also actually owned by Susan Moulton. And it on the middle of the turn, the horse like bolted to the outside rail and dropped the jockey. And so after that, it was kind of, you know, like I'm saying, because when a horse is on a loose lead like that, no pressure, they relax. They can go fast. You know, you see you win 22-2. But as soon as someone starts getting up next to her, you don't know how they're going to respond. And like I said, that horse dropped the jock and bolted to the outside rail. So then Famed is just sitting there all alone again, right? And just opened up. And it was, you know, look, I don't know if she was tiring or green or what, but she kind of veered out a little bit in the stretch. It was now Brad Cox, obviously great horseman. I'm sure he got that figured out, but it was kind of iffy in the stretch. Now, if this was trained by anyone else, I would probably toss that horse as well. But I'm sure he got that straightened out. And like I said, the distance shouldn't matter. So, but like I think the 1, 4, and 6 are kind of going to battle for the lead. Sandstone had it all her own way, so I'm going to try and beat her. I'm probably going to look dumb here, and I'll probably play a backup ticket singling her. But I'm going to go 1, 2, 7. Now with our horse, she is not fast enough according to figures. I get that. I think she's fit enough. You'll see she hasn't worked since before her last race, but Dale does not drill them weekly like a lot of these trainers do. And especially with fillies, you don't really need to do that. They'll stay fit. They don't lose a whole lot of fitness. And, if he didn't feel the need to work her, there's a reason. She's good. But that her debut also, I will say, she ran second to that horse Girl with a Dream, who won, I believe, an allowance last week for Brad Cox. And if you'll see that, she won by 6 3/4 over us. And then in her second race, that was a very strange, that it literally dumped for 10 minutes right before the race at Churchill. So they couldn't do anything to the track. She shot out to the lead, and then that spot, she was on the inside under the rail kind of, and it was just a little different than the outside than the middle of the track. And she just kind of spun her wheels. So that middle race is just a total toss. I wouldn't even, look at that. But, and with these 2-year-olds also, they all progress at different times, so I know her figures are light, but if she does get better, she could be right there. And I'll tell you this also, we've been high on her for a while. And before that debut, we kind of said, look, if we can win this kind of a Pocahontas kind of filly, we thought she was a 2-turn kind of filly. Now we'll find out tomorrow, honestly, because if you look, she won at 6.5 last time out, and the last race of the card is 6.5. So why didn't we go there? We really always thought she was a 2-turn filly. So we'll find out. But with the 7, I think that Alcibiades race was sneaky good. She ran a big time form number in that race, which was actually a 103. And, compared to Sandstone, who ran a 108 time form. Now, that was kind of one of those ones. I think she'll go off higher than 8-1 and could be a bomb. And then let me say something real quick and we'll move on because I know I'm taking a lot of time. But the 8 horse, if you'll see on debut, the 8 horse won and beat our filly, who is in the 4th race tomorrow, Delight of the Nile. So, I thought we were home free in that race, and she came and ran us down in the stretch and beat us by a length. So, that is what it is, but I just wanted to kind of point that out. But, yeah, so I'm going 1, 2, 7, and then I'll probably play something single in the 4.
All right. No, that's fantastic. And it's funny you said the 1 thing, because that's actually why I threw out the 1. Because I think this 1 is a little bit like the program doesn't show what that last race was. That's actually why I threw it out. Interesting. And we'll talk about your 4 in the last race. Let me ask you real quick for everybody out there, because I'm sure they're wondering, when you get Rosario on, was that you, CJ, or is that like
this one? No. So Ray Gutierrez is a good friend of mine. He moved up to Churchill. Let's see. We had I think we were like 4 for 7 or something, him riding for us. And I he's very good at getting a horse out of the gate quick and then relaxes him. And I thought on Cancel This that he would fit her well. And so I initially kind of got him on her, but he went to Fairgrounds. So this one was kind of, let's see who we can grab kind of thing, because we were, kind of short. Because, like I said, I like guys that are familiar with horses. And especially if you've won, I'm not going to, we're not going to take you off. So we left this one at the Dale. Looks like we got lucky with, arguably the best rider in the world right now.
Yeah. Poor you. You ended up with Rosario.
It could have been a lot worse.
How often do we see a morning line Joel Rosario at 20-1? So that's going to get
overplayed because of Rosario.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Probably. I still don't expect us to go off lower than 10 or 15-1.
No, not at all. But you're not going to be 25-30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because I know a lot of people out there that are listening. If you are, it's an interesting thing because everybody thinks, and I know that with a lot of things, with it's a lot of times just the trainers being like,
a lot of the owners
are the works and we trust them. CJ trusts him. And you end up with Rosario. Could have been a little worse. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, there's
Jamie Rodriguez was available.
he I mean, Rosario, Rosario after his agent's one of the best in the game as well. But after Brian went to the stayed on the 4 instead of riding the 5, Rosario could have gone to the 5. That kind of thing. So at least he picked us over someone, and it wasn't like we were just the last one standing. And
really
it always makes you feel better. And I like Keith. You said, the 7. CJ made me just look at this horse a little more, and you're right. This horse could sit in a perfect stalking trap.
That's what I was thinking. I think it's going to kind of be the 1, 4, 6 out on the lead with us and the 7 kind of sitting right behind. So hopefully we can get lucky and pick up at least a grade 2 stakes placing.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, you.
I singled the 4 here. I just think it's much. Just those 2 back-to-back dominating wins at a mile and stretching up to a mile 16th, and the speed figures. How he just. I just think it's tough to beat this horse. So I had a hard time really playing against him. So I just singled the 4.
It is nice to see what this. Like I said, if this 4 does this and it has a speed duel up front right away and does it again, then look out. Look out.
Then that's something serious right there. If that horse can do that.
Yeah, and these are all 2-year-old races that we're doing, everybody. So
Anything can happen, really.
We're throwing darts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at so many young things. I feel like Jeffrey Epstein at this point.
Oh,
wow. All right, then. Yeah, let's go on to another 2-year-old
Moving
race.
on.
Race 11. Okay, show got a little creepy there. Which is a Derby prep race. That's the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes, mile 16th. $400,000, obviously, for 2-year-olds. Tom, who do you like here?
I like this. Oh man, I had a hard time with this race. I fell in love with a lot of these horses watching their first couple races, and it's one of those I just have to trim it down because I'm not I'm no AJ. I can't play all. But I do like a lot of horses here, and the one horse that I know I really like is going to win. I took off was that Lucas horse, but I started with the 1 Classic Causeway once again. Oddly enough, with our guy Joel in the irons. All these horses must have been working out right around the same time because I think 3 or 4 of these horses they all had a very nice workout just on the 20th, including the 1 Classic Causeway. And again, our guy Joel is hot. I think Lynch is really having a good meet as well, and that combo is a nice, interesting. I think that Classic Causeway is definitely going to set the pace. What he's going to do with it is a whole other question. Could he wire it? Maybe. I don't know, but I think he's definitely going to be going out front. Just with the first, only these guys have only raced a couple times, but I think that he definitely has it in him to be the pace setter. I also like the 5 Howling Time with Talamo in the irons. Hey, again, one of these horses that I fell in love with, I bet on before. He threw up a 93. I mean, again, really looking at the times of these workouts. I know a lot of people don't like workouts, something that I've been really diving into over the past few months. Had a great workout just again on the 20th, and I also like the 8 Smile Happy. One before, one at a very impressive stage. You never know. Again, man, just throwing up numbers on the latest workouts here. He is really just feeling himself, and I think he's going to hit the board. And the last horse that I took, I went 4 deep, is the 10, coming off second off the claim for my buddy Safi Joseph, even though I think that name should be reversed. But he second off, I think that and Joseph is having a great. He's doing pretty well here at Gulf, but that's where this horse won before. This horse has got some very, very impressive figures on the dirt, which I think could go for something here. So, with that said, I went 1, 5, 8, 10.
We're deep.
Yeah.
This is a tough race. This is a tough field.
Yeah, this is definitely a good one. All right, so first and foremost, I have to talk about our boy's horse, Tis the Bomb. I mean, look at not Shoe's horse, right? Wasn't it Tis the Bomb?
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
because
a
it's
big
by
hit
hit it a
I've seen
bomb.
him. Yep.
Yeah, I had a bomb. I do like this horse. I think look at the progression on this horse, and I don't care what you're running on turf, dirt, broken glass. I don't care if you're running on the Thornton Freeway East. It doesn't matter. CJ, that was for you, by the way. I think I'm talking about I-30 over there where you are. But I'm gonna go with. I do like that. I like the progression of this horse. Going back to dirt, I think with this is where this horse belongs. And so I'm going to play the 6 no matter what. And that's Tis the Bomb. Classic Causeway, who we talked about, Tom. I mean, once again, when we talk about progression with 2-year-olds, and here's the thing, I don't usually like, and I'm sure CJ will probably agree with this. I'm not sure. 2-year-olds on the lightly raced 2-year-olds on the rail is often a scary thing. I think this could go to with this horse's speed. I think this could go to the advantage, knowing Rosario knows he's got to get off that rail and away from it. So I think this could be good for that horse. I really, really like the one here to get loose more than I think any jockey would if this horse was in the 7 or 8. I think it's a pressure to get off the lead, and we'll know right away to get off that rail. And the next one I'm going to go with is the 12, Ben Diesel.
Yep, that's the one I knew was going to win.
Yeah. Why not? Court Stewart, good combo there. Great race last time out. Let's just not put that there. And I think Court's got to know to get this horse out when you're in the 12, once again, in that position, you're going to have to get a trip. It's going to be one of those things. If the 1 and 12 can't do what they're doing, they're not going to win. But the 12 is going to have to know, Court's going to have to know to get this horse in a position where I think it'll be pretty good as a stalking position. So why not? If you're going to give me 15-1, I have to go, why not? So I'm going to go 3 deep. 1, 6, 12.
Yeah. Okay. You or me? Who's going next?
You're going, CJ.
All right. So I'll start from the rail. I think we were dead on about that. That horse is going to go and set the pace. Now, so I definitely I don't think it went. I mean, it went quick, obviously last time out, and if Rosario can get him to relax a little bit, the horse could wire the field. So then I'm going to go down to, so I'm going to use the 1, of course, and then I'm going to go to the 5, Howling Time. And, this was another one that, won the street sense pretty impressively. Another thing with Dale is, he gets horses, babies to peak around this time. And he always does well at kind of the Churchill September meet and and this November meet. I think last year he won, 2 or 3 of those stakes races at Churchill. And so then I'm going to use him. I'm also going to use Tis the Bomb. Now, it's funny because this horse has been a beast on the turf, and I heard from Kenny, all along that after the juvenile turf, they were going to throw him on the dirt and point him kind of, hopefully that was their Derby horse. Now I know, he won at Ellis on the dirt the first race. That was just a debut. You toss that race, so I'm using him for sure. And then I'm also going to use the 8. That debut race was pretty big, and I don't know what kind of figures you guys use, but I'm really not a fan of buyers for 2-year-olds. I've seen a lot of inconsistencies with them, and they are what they are, and I get it, but this horse ran a really big time form number on that debut, going a mile and a 16th. I think it'll probably sit right behind the 1, kind of. And then, the 10 was very interesting. My only concern is Saffie hadn't been doing that well away from Gulfstream. And I don't know what this horse faced. I have not watched these replays. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously he beat a field of 11 first out and ran huge. And I'm guessing that someone private purchased him after that because he got moved from Carlos Perez to Saffie. So obviously there's some hype around him. I'll probably keep him as a B, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to keep him on the main ticket. And you mentioned the 12. And like we were talking, it's all about the trip, right? You're going 2 turns. There's a little bit of time in between the turn, but this 12 could end up going 4 or 5 wide in the first turn. And, you've got to be much the best if you do that. I think Dallas Stewart is a great trainer. John Court and him team up together. I mean, look, they're winning 17% at Churchill. But I think that's another one that's absolutely a live long shot. It's just going to depend on the trip. So I'm kind of sticking, let's see. And I thought the 14 might go wide as well. And that horse, honestly, if somehow that horse does get a good trip, that horse could win too. DeSormo is a master at doing this, where the horse looks like it's got no shot, but he knows exactly what he's doing. I've seen him do this a million times where, maybe the horse wasn't cranked at a certain point and this and that, and he gets him to fire. Again, though, might be going wide, sitting in kind of that mid-pack 3rd tier. So I'm going to use the 1, 5, 6, 8. And then on, kind of my B's are the 10 and the 12. I'm intrigued by this Mark Cassie horse. I want to go watch this replay because that synthetic at Gulfstream has been kind of weird. At first, it was, it wasn't very. It's packed down more that they've started using it, so it's playing a little differently. But I want to see what he beat and how he looked visually, because again, I've seen Cassie kind of do this where, the horse looks like it should be all turf, and then he comes in and runs well in the dirt. But yeah, so I'm going to go 1, 5, 6, 8, and then as B's kind of 10, 12, and kind of a question mark on the 13.
All right.
Bringing in Edwin Gonzalez from that 13.
Yeah,
that's
that's an interesting one. Yeah.
Fun fact: that's Mannix. That's I think that was the #1 TV show when Randy was born. That's how old he is.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Mannix, come on.
I don't know that. You're on your own. I don't know that. I usually know this obscure TV references you make, but I don't know. Like
and by the way, that sire Australia is one of Shu's favorites too.
Yes, that's right.
He's been bugging me to send Sally's Curlin to Australia, and he doesn't understand that it costs like $30,000 to get her over and back. Anyways, I mean, Shu, I love you to death, dude, but just leave the breeding to me.
All right.
Like in general, you should just say that in general.
Yeah, he does not need to be breeding anymore either.
Yeah, if somebody needs to be gelded, it's Shu.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's funny. Call me midnight when you said the jockey thing. I do always think when DeSormo doesn't send his brother, but who knows if they're fighting again ever. But
yeah, and those Cajuns, man, I'm telling you, they're great horsemen, but they absolutely will, like, if last time out. Now I know this horse won last time out, but like I've seen it a million times where the horse just doesn't run its race, and if Kent's riding, maybe he's not all out on the horse. Like, they're absolutely saving the horse for the next time.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually one of the angles I had. All right, let's move on.
Okay, I didn't fix you.
Oh, you're right. Your picks. Let's go on. No, all right, go to your picks.
Oh, thanks. You're too kind. I kind of struggled here. I didn't want to play both the 1 and the 5 because I didn't want to go 4 deep, just keep the price pretty low. And I think the
Yeah.
5 has what it takes to close on this one. So I stuck with the 5 here. Tis a bomb, like we've talked about already. He's been proven on dirt, proven on the turf. I'm excited that Kenny is bringing him back for hopefully a Derby campaign. And then the 8 here, Smile Happy, another McPeak horse. Like we've talked about his last time out, CJ, we use time form as well. At least Randy and I do. And yeah, those time form figures are phenomenal to see your first time out. And the strong closing speed is kind of what I was looking at here to see can this horse close on the 1? And I'm going to take my shot here, especially at 12-1. So those are my 3, 5, 6, 8.
5, 6, 8. There it is. Handle them all. All right.
All right.
Now can we move on? Do you
Well,
need
I
to
don't
go
know.
again this time, or
Do you want me to just leave the show? I can leave. It's
good?
He's
This
been
got
pain in
awkward.
the ass the past couple shows, hasn't he?
I have
know.
been. I have been. It's
Yeah.
true.
This is what I have to live with. All right, let's go to the last race. Race 12 is the Fern Creek Stakes, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, $200,000 for Philly's 2-year-old. Tom, who do you like?
All right. I started with the 2. I think if we can get 7-2, that's a gift. Went a little bit short on the price there. I mean, can't go wrong with Cox and Joel. I also really like that drop in class. Running with a little bit higher company down there and Keeneland. The second horse I have here is the 6, Marissa's Lady. I think Williams is one of those. Morey is one of those little trainers that doesn't get a lot of play outside of people who actually, know what they're doing. I think he's having a pretty good meet down there. Like this horse's last race, she won her debut. She knows the course. She's a good dirt horse. She threw up a 95 last time out, and she's got that late kick that could prove very valuable at this distance. And I threw in the 8 just to cover myself. I think this horse is probably going to win. I don't want to see it win, especially at 5-2. But listen, it's undefeated in 2 starts. She's been winning at Keeneland. From what I'm seeing, got the best dirt speed and clearly the class of the race. So I went 2, 6, 8 here.
Who do you like?
2, 6, 8. Okay. I'll start off with. I'll agree with you with the 8. That's one of my plays. I think this 8 with no speed on the side of it at all. On the inside is going to get a perfect trip. I think this horse could be obviously tough to beat. Not a price, but I'm going to give you a price here, which I would be all about, and this is my kind of thing, and that's the 5 with Knowing Glance. Gaffleon Maker. I'll take it. Don't mind the breeding, fine. But if you look at these horses' races, if you just look at if you did watch them, which I did, this horse has never had, throw out the first one in the mud because there's another problem. This horse is a trouble horse. And sometimes horses are just trouble horses, and they bang against other horses and this and that. If this horse doesn't do that, and this is like the 2-year-old stuff we talked about when CJ was talking about his 2-year-old, we don't know. Throw out the numbers. I don't give you the number 100. You're winning with bumping into horses and not knowing how to run yet. This horse knows how to run at 8-1. Knowing Glance, all about it. And that's the 5, which I came close to just going crazy and saying I'm going to single an 8-1 shot here at the end. Just because if you give me a trip, but maybe it's just a trouble horse. Maybe this is what this horse does. But so I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to go with the 5, Knowing Glance. And the 8, Sweet Danny Girl, because I really like where the 8's going to put themselves and might just be the fastest horse. So I can't not put that horse. So I'm going 5-8.
All right.
Cool.
CJ, who do you like?
Okay, so I this was a tough one, and I hate now that I'm looking at it again, and I'll be honest, I spent the least amount of time on this one because I was rushing to finish this up. But now that I kind of heard your opinion, at first I wanted to single the 2. Look, ran well first out, at Ellis. They stretched out, see what they had, take a shot. And obviously that didn't work out too good. I personally think the 4 has the most speed, and I like, time forms, pace projections. I kind of get in arguments with people. Some people don't like them. I've always had good luck with them, and they've always been pretty close. Now, there's one thing you can't put in an algorithm, trouble or missing a break or this or that. I mean, sometimes they're never going to be perfect, but but then I go back, and so I was going to single the 2, and then we talked about the 4, the 6, and the 8. All those are logical. I like what you said about the 5, so I might throw that in. But now I'm looking at the 1, and I need to, it's kind of like Baffert. You got 2 in a race, and the other one wins. You know what I'm saying?
Always. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this one won by 5 in the slop and a maiden special. I'm gonna have to go look at this a little closer because it looks like it was probably privately purchased. And I could be wrong. I haven't looked into it, but it switched from Rudy Brissett to Brad Cox. Brad Cox 25% first time. So I think I might have to, on one ticket, single the 2, and then go near all as my B's. But and then you were talking about the 5. Now I guarantee you, I'll stall through that horse in that $150,000 maiden claimer, thinking no one's going to touch it. And look what happens. It gets claimed and then wins this optional claimer next time out after having trouble changing bumps early. And by the way, if you notice, who got second in that last race is that Girl with a Dream, who my filly ran second to first out, and Girl with a Dream just won an allowance, I think, last weekend. And I know she ran up at Saratoga in a stakes race. So
With a big number too, 93.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the only 2 that I'm probably tossing off everything are the 3 and the 7.
Yeah, listen, there's nothing wrong with it, CJ, because after we do this show, my ticket goes from like $7, $8 to like $48. Not even close. Yeah. And still doesn't win.
Yeah.
Just how it goes.
Can't all be runners.
Exactly. All right. I went 3 deep here. I like the 1 here. I think they have the speed to definitely get off the rail right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I feel like, I was looking at this pace projector as well, CJ, and I feel like you're right. It should run fairly what they're projecting. If that's the case, I see a potential meltdown between the 2 and the 4, and I feel like the 1 would be sitting perfect to pick up the pieces. With that being said, I did go back between putting the 2 or the 4. I didn't want to put both. I stuck with the 4. I like that they're putting this horse in blinkers for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern are, does he have the speed to hold off the 2 in the stretch? I think we'll find out. Like, these are 2-year-olds. They're hard. They're still developing. Also the 8. I mean, the 8 for me was really tough. Like I said, this tough speed figures. This is another horse that I could see sitting right back behind the pace. If there's any kind of meltdown, will be another horse that could pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
I struggled. This was another decent field with, I feel like, decent cases to be made with a lot of these horses. Without getting too big, I just did those 3. There's just so much speed in this race at 6.5 furlongs. It's going to be tough, but I'm sticking with the 1, 4, and the 8.
We should do a thing at the end of everything where we do, now what are we sold on? Because the 1 now I'm sold. Now,
Yeah.
About the 1 now, when CJ brought that up and then Sarah said it, then I look at it and I'm like, shit, why didn't I see this? Like,
I did the same thing. I'm looking right now too at the 1. I'm like, I missed something here.
a 10-1. I mean, I guess
It's like
that's
your horse last race. That Ben Diesel. I won with that horse with Court before, and he was a bomber. He went off like at 18-1 or something like that. And I'm like, shit. I want to play him too.
Yeah, and we can talk ourselves into everyone, but that's
These
our
are tough
angle,
races.
which is
And-
almost good for people that watch this, like in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's good for them because they can maybe sell themselves on a horse they looked at.
Well, and we see that with people who will just combine. They won't play a pick 4, but they'll do a pick 3 and they'll win. They'll take. Oh well, Sarah, Randy, and Tom agreed on this one horse, so I'm just going to take this, and that one might win. Our pick 4 sucks, but they'll combine all of our picks. But
Yeah,
hey,
Mhm.
thus far
that's
they are.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why we do this.
Hey, real quick, this one was definitely. I just looked it up. They sold it privately after that last race. So Hoffman Family Racing and I'm actually friends with Clay Shearer, the other. So I'll ask him what they're thinking on that one. But yeah, they obviously saw something and purchased the horse privately and moved it to Brad Cox. So
Hey,
There you go. See
Okay,
what we
sure.
get here. Your insider info.
Yeah.
CJ, thank you for that. So recap the picks real
Yeah.
quick, and then we'll talk to CJ real quick about his horse in
Yeah.
the 4th race, and then we'll move on and go.
All right, here are picks for the late pick 4. These will be going up on Twitter tomorrow morning, so make sure you follow all of us on Twitter. But it starts with race 9. We get Tom's pick 4 is the 357 with the 142 with the 15810 with the 268. Randy's is 16. Oh, excuse me, starting the wrong leg there. 3578 with the 142, with the 1612, with the 58. CJ is starting off with a single of the 5, with the 127, with the 1568. And CJ, are you singling the 2 in the last leg?
yeah, I'm gonna single the 2 on one ticket and then go 1, 4, 5, 6, 8 as my B's. Figure out a way to sprinkle those in.
Perfect. And then my picks were the 5-8 with the 4, with the 5-6-8 with the 1-4-8. 8-8-8.
So, how many times too when you're like, I'll sprinkle some in with this one horse I'm going to single, and your single just comes in after you play all in the other ticket.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
you just spent the whole time talking about race 12 being like, this should be all, and then you'll just go and the 4 or something.
Yeah,
the 2
the
will win.
Danish
The 2
girl
will
wins.
win.
I mean, it's so tough with these multi-leg wagers, and you see the argument all the time. But look, like can't remember what it was. It was probably Breeders' Cup or something. I played 2 tickets, and I'm trying not to caveman him and play a giant ticket, so I'm playing 2 smaller tickets. Well, if I would have cavemanned him, I would have hit it.
You won.
Now,
It's all the
I
time.
wouldn't
Of
have made
course.
that much money. I would have had to risk a decent amount to win it, but I really wanted to go for that, home run, and that's the thing is there's different kinds of bettors. There's those that just want to churn, not lose their ass, and then there's some that want to, they'd rather go all or nothing, crush it, or get knocked out and just win nothing. And I understand that. It's but you see the argument, all the time, and it's and everyone's like, oh, that's not value. This isn't blah blah blah. Well, value is in the eye of the beholder, as far as I'm concerned. It depends on what you view as value, and I'm not here to rip someone for playing a caveman. If they, it's like I wish I could have put $1,000 into a pick 5 and hit it for, if I just don't play that way, and I don't have, I got 3 kids now. I got a bunch of, pieces of horses. I can't, I wish I didn't have all this, but, and I could be gambling hard like I used to, but now it's a little different,
Yeah.
It's what's part of being a
it's-
good handicapper too, though, knowing what you can and what you
Yeah.
knowing what you can and what
Part
you
of
can.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. So, CJ, before we go, you have a horse in the 4th race, Delight of the Nile. I
Yeah,
believe.
going in a maiden special. I haven't really looked too, hard at the race overall. Obviously you got Lobo, Brad Cox, Asmussen, McPeak, Amos. So Ian Wilkes, another McPeak, another Ian Wilkes. So it's going to be loaded. And I can tell you that she on debut got beat by, like I said, Code for Success, who is in the Goldenrod with us. We were home free, and literally Code for Success comes flying down the middle of the track and runs us down. And I, look, first off, we never win first out with Dale Romans. I mean, that's just, we have Wesley Ward trained for us, and it's kind of, you're expecting to win first out. But with Dale, you never do. So I didn't have high hopes for that race because usually, with him, they need a race. But she showed a lot of talent in that race. And then, look, we took a swing at Kentucky Downs. That obviously did not work out. She went out way too quick and just faded and probably wasn't, her best. And then last race, we tried her at the 1-turn mile, and she broke so well from the outside. Ray could not get her to relax, and she just bolted off. As you can see, she was in front by 5, went 22-2, and just faded. But she actually, to be perfectly honest with you, at the top of the stretch, I thought she was going to get dead last, beaten 30 lengths. It was going to say eased, all that kind of stuff. And she, fought on a little bit. And, I know 7th beaten 8 1/4 isn't that great looking, but still, the fact that she held on like that, honestly, I thought she was going to get 12th and beaten, daylight. So she's got a little heart. Hopefully the cutback will be right for her. And, obviously the mile was a little much. So, and then we got, Santana on because, like I said, Ray went to Fairgrounds. So,
Right.
And Santana's a good speed rider. So I think, it doesn't, we might make the lead and hopefully roll. I mean, one of the Steves has a little bit of speed but hopefully we pop out and we're not on the 9 post isn't great, but I think we'll be all right. And
Yeah, you're fine.
get to the rail.
Yeah, you're fine. I think you should get the rail too. And once again, I'm going to say I like this horse at 15-1, and I'm not just saying it. And I'll give you the reasons. And everybody knows that listens to the show. They know my reasons why here. Number 1, the flash, fade, and fight. Love it. Kentucky Downs, draw a line through it because it's Kentucky Downs. You never know what they're going to do there, no matter what.
True.
And I do think a horse that gets stretched out a little bit last time comes back and can make the lead easy.
Yeah.
How do you not play a 15-1 shot here? I like your horse here a little bit, at least being around, and we'll see what happens. That 90 and time form rating here I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's good.
Definitely worth
big
playing
early
with.
speed at 6, and now has been stretched out. Kentucky Downs, 6.5 at Kentucky Downs on turf is like a mile anyway. Takes out of the horse.
Oh yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
That little uphill stretch. You definitely, if it's a sprint, you chalk it up to they just ran a mile pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And CJ, you do something with Kentucky Downs, correct?
I did.
You did.
I basically was the from 2012 to 2018. For the beginning of it when we were small, I kind of did everything, and then I kind of towards the end of it we got a little big, and I got some help, so I kind of focused on just all the wagering and the video. So all the wagering menu and graphics and all that kind of stuff was all me. But I did,
Wow.
and I did our marketing as well, and it was good experience. I understand a lot of the front side, economics to it all. I used to always love getting destroyed on Twitter by people saying, you need to do this, that, but we only ran 5 days. And when you do that, the all those costs are fixed costs. You run 5 days over, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Well, renting a starting gate is the same price. You know what I'm saying? But you're only running 5 days and getting bet on 5 days. So, you get less money over those 2 weeks kind of thing. And so it was tough. And so now they sold it, and the new owners are doing a great job making upgrades and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we, when I got there, we really were very prideful of making the wagering menu friendly for horse players. And I worked with the racing office a lot to kind of move races around. You see that sometimes where it's like, we got to pick 5 here and there's a $5,000 maiden claimer in there, we made sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen. And then marketing with other tracks and doing, I think we got some graded stakes upgraded while I was there, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm proud of the job we were able to do there, and I still haven't been able to win a race there though. That's the only thing. Now I'm trying to do that.
Of course, right? Yeah, like let me build it and I won't.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It is,
It is impossible to win. But
especially with the limited races.
You don't
Do what?
Especially with the limited racing there, it's
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we had one that got beat by like a nostril and a grade 2 at Woodbine and brought her down.
Oh.
And I thought, man, we were so live. And I think she got 7th, beaten 10 lengths. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
everybody thinks they have a Kentucky Downs horse now.
Yeah.
And they don't know until that horse goes to Kentucky.
No.
Downs.
And I saw some crazy stuff when I was there, man. We had a guy who, older gentleman, he literally trained his horse on his farm just up and down hills. And the thing comes in at like 60-1 and just rolls. And we're like, what? And he's like, I've been training this horse up and down the hills on my farm. And the guy literally had like 2 horses to his name. You know
Training
what I'm saying?
specifically for that track. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You get a trail horse from the Grand Canyon.
No, I'm not even kidding. This guy rode his horse every day, and then he'd work it up and down the hill. But he rode the horse on his farm like every day, and it was actually a good story. He won the Old Friends Stakes, and when we did that, we said, okay, if you win this race, you get a home at Old Friends, and the guy actually had cancer and was kind of on his last leg, and he won the race and started crying, and he was like, my horse has when I'm gone, he can. Yeah, it was a really cool deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
And with that being said, CJ, maybe you should come to California and help us out with our horse racing here.
I think we talked about it. We're going to now that they brought the downhill turf back. Like,
I mean, you need to run the races at California. Like, I need you to do that.
Yeah.
No. Come to California, definitely.
You
But
know,
I'll
they can
need
get
you to
out there.
move those around and get different conditions because we suck at it. Sorry.
I know. Well, and look, it's a tough deal, but like Nate Newby at Santa Anita, he's a good friend of mine. Like, I think that's the thing. You're not just going to be able to make all these changes like that, and field size isn't just going to magically erupt out of nowhere, because you can't really, I think Nate is a sharp guy. He gets it and he will get it back on track. He's only been doing the job, a year now or so.
And Chris, who's been on our show up there in Santa
Mhm.
Anita, he's he does a condition book there. We love Chris.
Yeah.
There's
And I
other-
think, in Aiden with the Strana group, I think he's getting involved and trying to make a difference. I think they're on the right track. It's just, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think I told you when the breakdown started happening, we pulled everything out because A, the track wasn't safe at the time, but B, we couldn't get a race to go. We were sitting there trying to run, and we couldn't get it. Finally, we just had to pull them all out. I think we had 3 or 4 there. But now, the purses are going up. Everything seems to be kind of back on track. So I think you'll see me out there soon. And I love coming out there. It was weird when we ran in the speakeasy this year at Santa Anita. I hadn't been there in a few years, and I love it out there. I could never live out there, but I love visiting.
Right.
We hear that. We definitely hear that.
Yeah.
And we're sitting. We have a horse we're just waiting for that's just ready. Broke a track record, Laneway. Broke a track record on the turf. We talked about him. He can't find a race.
Yeah.
He can't find a race. And you're talking about a horse that sits 10 months after being gelded, finally learns how to run by horses and breaks a track record doing it. And who knows, is he going to revert back to who he was?
Sure.
Because he's sitting around and waiting. And it's infuriating. But
I know.
What it is out here.
it's horse racing.
Yep.
So, all right, good luck. I know. CJ's got to go back to the family, get his Friday done after Thanksgiving. We appreciate it. CJ, though, definitely come on our weekly show. Will be a lot of fun with you, where we do our games and all that goofy
Hey,
stuff.
don't forget your show on Tuesdays on the same channel, Off the Rail. You're always
CJ's a little bigger
welcome.
than that.
Hey, I'll do anything. I have a flexible schedule unless I'm out of town, but I'm not traveling again until the Keeneland January sale, so I'm wide open.
Cool.
I mean, I'm in an office by myself, so it's not like Yeah, I got an office mate, but he's cool. So it's just me and him in the office, and we are the two main employees of CJ Thoroughbreds. So it's like I said, I'm wide open. Anytime you guys have someone drop
Yeah,
off and are stuck,
we go live every Tuesday.
No, we're
I'll
not
let
going to
you
be
know.
stuck. We're going to schedule you on.
Okay.
We don't have to
I'd
be
love
stuck.
to bump shoe one day too, if you can.
All right, we'll
pull
put that up. We'll put that together.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll put that together right now. We'll throw it out there. Let's get that together.
Okay.
We do a lot of fun things like Degen squares. We did. You'd be a good contestant on that, or not a contestant. What are they
Square.
called? A square.
One of the squares.
One of
Yeah.
the squares.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
appreciate
we'll-
what you guys are doing. I'm trying to watch as much as I can. It's just when you're, a small group like us managing like 50 horses, it's tough,
a lot.
to
It's a
and
lot.
then when I'm at home, the kids are running around. I can never focus on anything. But
We just put out Triple
Time
Clown's
Machine.
Time Machine. I don't know
Yeah.
if you.
I saw it because Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time, and I see this graphic, and I'm like, did they put my face on Marty or no? Like I thought it was our deal at first, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun, and then no, that was cool, and I started watching it, and then realized I need to start handicapping this late pick 4, so I'm gonna finish that up here.
No, it was fun to do. We did Easy Go Sunday Silence. We're getting something else in the works. Just to
I was 7 then, so I'm probably not that good for that, but
Whoa, I was 13.
Yeah, I think I was around that age, 13, 14,
We were in
12.
8th grade.
He knows who I was. I don't.
Watching horse racing.
Well, we were watching. We were at the track probably.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
were
think
you,
I was
CJ, probably at 9.
no, I
I was
was
there-
definitely.
I was watching at Garden State Park with my dad, I believe.
I think I was in Louisiana, and we just moved to Oklahoma. So my dad worked at Louisiana Downs, Remington Park, and then Lone Star Park. So I kind of literally I grew up at the track.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So
No.
did I. Not because my dad worked there. We just went and
Just gambled.
Yeah. Me too.
Well, that's how I would do it too. My dad would give me $20, and you bet $2 a race, and that was it. Since I was little, and then we kind of went to college, and I was like, man, I went to Arizona for the racetrack industry program, and it was just I was burnt out on it, and so then I transferred back to Texas Tech and kind of had, I was out of racing for a while and then it sucked me right back in. I qualified for the NHC and that kind of stuff, and started getting back into it. And then now this is all I do.
So you were down in Tucson?
Yep. For a year and a half.
Do you know Joe Mishak?
I do not. I was there from
I think he's a little
2001
older.
to 2003.
He might be right after that.
Yeah.
He's
Is
right
he-
after. He did that too.
I think he's a year older than me, 2 years maybe.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like 37. Yeah.
So yeah, he would have been a couple years after.
Yeah,
He did the
probably
same
not.
program.
But he did the same program. He was big and runs my racers.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, he probably finished out and now looking back, I'm like, man, I should have just finished it. But I was a kid. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
That's all right.
No,
I went to
never-
travel and tourism, and then I ended up with an acting degree later on. So I mean,
That's
now here I am.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm here with my history degree. I mean, that's
criminal justice.
that's interesting. I mean,
Mine's theater
And
studies.
now you're surrounded by basically
Now I'm
criminals.
surrounded by
Criminals.
criminals.
Degenerates. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
let's get off live and we can chit chat afterwards.
yeah, absolutely. Everybody's listening.
All right. See everybody.
Wow, that was a good outro.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks everybody for listening. I see Keith in there, everybody else. Check out our new show with the Time Machine. We'll have a couple other things coming up with our weekly show, everything like that. Thank you, our guest, CJ Johnson. Of course, we'll see him around hopefully more often. And, for Triple Clowns at Degen Nation, see you later, everybody.
thanks.